Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, click that little red button below. And if you'd like to be notified of my posts first, then click the little bell and it'll send you a notification as soon as I post. Also be sure to give this video a thumbs up for me. Thanks folks. As we continue, I just wanted to do a recap on the Turpin family. They are finding more evidence in the journals, and there is more charges than what some pieces of the video that you're about to watch will say. I believe they're up to 82 counts of charges right now. And yeah, we will keep you posted. Their next court appearance, March 23rd. I will let you know how that goes, and we'll go from there. So stay safe out there, folks, and let's help each other out there. We need to be each other's voices when somebody takes one away. So let's help each other out there and stay safe. Thanks for watching, folks.
To the newly discovered video showing life inside that so-called California house of horrors, where police say 12 children were held captive. One of the daughters appearing to post videos on YouTube under a different name. Our senior national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has the story this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Now, on the face of it, those videos seem like pretty typical teenage stuff until you learn that they were created by the 17-year-old daughter who broke out of the house and alerted authorities just days after what appears to be this experimentation we've discovered on YouTube.
We didn't even know.
This morning, that surprising first glimpse into the home where police say 12 children were tortured and systematically starved for years. That view, courtesy of David Louise Turpin's 17-year-old daughter. She produced and posted these self-made videos to YouTube under an alias. Mostly their songs she says that she wrote herself. We've concealed her identity because she's a minor.
Where is the king? Where is the king?
The most recent clip posted just 7 days before police say she broke out of the Perris, California home where she and her siblings were at times allegedly kept shackled to beds. She managed to call 911 and alert authorities, who you see in this surveillance video rescuing the children and arresting their parents. You discussed the heroics of that 17-year-old girl in escaping. How did she manage to do it?
She obviously has the personality that she's gonna risk herself for others, and she did that. And she managed to get out, and we're very glad that she did.
There's also this video in which she's playing with one of the family's Maltese dogs. It shows those doors smudged with grime and the clothes piled in the back of the room. Authorities say those two dogs and the Turpin's youngest child were the only ones who did not suffer from chronic malnutrition when they finally entered the house. Their parents, David and Louise, seen here shackled in court, face up to life in prison if convicted of a combined 82 charges, including torture, false imprisonment, and child endangerment. Now, the 17-year-old also appears to have had an Instagram account. It has more selfies, a couple of pictures of foxes, and of Justin Bieber. Now, an attorney for some of these siblings says they're recovering physically and are working on their life skills and their dreams. Some hope to become doctors, nurses, even investigators. Michael.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. We hope they become anything that they want to become. They deserve it.
In pictures posted on Facebook, David and Louise Turpin surrounded by their 13 children. But behind the smiles and matching outfits,
The kids were not allowed to clean themselves.
a reality authorities say that is so disturbing.
Extremely malnourished to the point where they have muscle wasting and cognitive damage.
It shocked the country.
It appears to have started being tied up with rope, then they moved up to chains and padlocks.
Now this mother and father are the ones in shackles, accused of inflicting years of cruelty on their own flesh and blood.
This is off the charts sadistic.
Charges of torture, false imprisonment, and child abuse allegedly happening inside the couple's home in the town of Perris, California. The alleged horror all hidden in plain sight. But the family story started 2,300 miles away in the heart of Appalachia, Princeton, West Virginia, where Louise and David grew up during the 70s and 80s.
I'm full of emotion. I'm angry, I'm sad, heartbroken, confused as to how this happened.
Elizabeth Flores is Louise's younger sister.
So we had a pretty normal life inside the home that I lived in.
She says Louise was always a leader.
And it was her way or no way. And if she had to sneak around to do it, she would do it.
The younger sister says that she and others in the family were sexually abused and wonders whether the impact on the family might have been a contributing factor.
There was sexual abuse by a family member, a close family member, not our parents. We were not allowed to talk about it. And I'm not making excuses for my sister, but I think that may have been an underlying issue.
Another constant in her life, Elizabeth says, was David Turpin, who lived just a few miles away. Here he is in his high school yearbook from 1979, sporting that same bowl haircut he has today.
She was quiet, nerdy. She was a good student. She tended to dress well. Sometimes she would wear a bow tie.
Louise actually started dating him at 15. My dad didn't want her to because he was so much older.
Eventually, when Louise was only 16 and David was almost 23, the couple ran away together. Elizabeth says police found them several days later in Texas. Louise's parents decided not to pursue charges. The couple then got married. It was 1985. In 1986, the couple moved to Texas, where David had a job. By the 90s, they were living at this house in Fort Worth, where Elizabeth spent a summer during college living with them. By then, the Turpins already had 4 kids, and Elizabeth says she noticed things were off.
I remember they were really strict on the oldest daughter. Like, they wanted her in her room a lot, and they would let her come down and eat meals. It used to bother me because before she sat down, she had to get permission, and I felt like maybe I shouldn't pry, maybe I shouldn't question her parenting. It was almost like she didn't want me talking to the kids, and they weren't allowed to talk to me without permission.
Elizabeth says Louise had come up with a type of hybrid religion, but they didn't go to church. She says David was very reserved, and Louise made all the rules.
She always seemed to be in control, but there was always looks between them, and he was always sitting back watching. I was told I couldn't make phone calls from their phone. I wasn't allowed to have anybody over. I wasn't allowed to tell anybody where I lived. I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody or hang out with anybody. And if I wanted to do those things, I had to leave and find another place to go.
And Elizabeth says things got even creepier.
I'd get in the shower and I'd lock the door. And Louise would unlock it with a coat hanger. And they would both come in there. They wouldn't leave until I got out of the shower, and they made me get out of the shower in front of them.
Elizabeth says Louise eventually found out she had talked to friends at work and kicked her out. Despite David's job, the family's Fort Worth house was foreclosed on. The scene they left behind, documented by the new homeowner, deplorable filth, scratches on the backs of doors and walls, which the new homeowner assumed came from animals. By 2000, the Turpins had moved to this home on a sprawling 36 acres in the rural Texas town of Rio Vista.
It's actually even hard to find on the map.
Neighbors recall sporadic sightings and strange behavior.
Something's going on over there, you know, something's not right.
Then, in 2010, once again, money problems apparently forced them out. Billy Baldwin bought the Turpins' home also in a foreclosure sale and says he also found a mess and some bizarre photographs.
Pretty bad shape.
The Turpin family went west to California.
It's unclear why they moved to California. They don't have any family out here. Perhaps it was for work. You just don't know.
Eventually, they settled in Perris, a small city located between Los Angeles and San Diego, David registering his house as the Sandcastle Day School with state authorities so his kids could be homeschooled. A neighbor remembered seeing something odd one night.
I'd come home at anywhere from 12:30 to 3 in the morning. There's the kids marching between those 2 rooms up there.
So they were marching literally in the middle of the night, back and forth from room to room.
It looked like they were doing a loop.
How long would they march back and forth for in single file?
Hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
Finally, for the siblings living in what prosecutors said was hell, a breaking point. Police say 2 of the kids were able to escape out of a window just after 6 a.m. on Sunday. The younger child, frightened, turns back. The 17-year-old keeps going, using a deactivated cell phone to call 911.
And she explained that her siblings were being held against their will, and some were chained. Deputies, when they arrived inside the house, they noticed that the children were malnourished. It was very dirty, and the conditions were horrific.
What some are calling a house of horrors discovered in a California suburb.
The parents arrested at the scene. The children, authorities say, were severely malnourished. The oldest, a 29-year-old woman, weighs just 82 pounds.
It sounds like sadistic torture. It's all horrific. It's hard to say what's more horrific in a case like this. But, you know, you've got parents that are torturing their children, causing them pain, causing them suffering over a prolonged period of time through malnourishment, through physical abuse, through psychological abuse.
Authorities say hidden behind a neatly manicured lawn in a cookie-cutter house, a veritable mountain of potential evidence.
When deputies found the 12 siblings, what were the conditions that they encountered in that house?
Conditions are absolutely deplorable. It smelled as filthy. It's clear that some of the victims, when they're chained, are not being taken to the bathroom to relieve themselves.
Investigators say the children were not allowed to play, but they were allowed to keep journals.
My guess is that that's going to be powerful evidence about what was happening from the perspective of the victims, what was happening in that house.
In court yesterday, David and Louise Turpin pleaded not guilty to a combined 75 total counts, including charges of torture, child abuse, and false imprisonment. Investigators say only the 2-year-old child appears to have escaped the abuse. The couple is being held on $12 million bail each. Elizabeth says she hasn't seen the children in more than a decade. She didn't know what was going on, she says, until she saw the news.
Somebody posted the link on my Facebook and said, "Is this your sicko sister?" My initial response was, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I broke down. I knew my sister was different from us, but I would have never, ever imagined this, ever.
And for the 13 siblings who investigators say have already endured so much, the long, arduous road to recovery still lies ahead. Stay with us.
Their hidden lives has been revealed by the Turpin's 17-year-old daughter. She escaped and alerted police about the harsh living conditions, and she found a way to post a series of videos onto social media singing what seemed to be her own songs describing life at home.
You blame me for everything. You blame me in every way. You blame me for what to say, what to say.
That is just one of the many videos that 17-year-old posted under an alias. Her most recent post, just 7 days before police say she broke free and then sent authorities to the Perris home where her siblings were still being held. Now, the songs have titles of What's Wrong With Me, Give Me One More Chance, and she even posted this video of 2 of the family dogs in what appear to be a bedroom. Police say the pets and the Turpin's youngest child were the only ones not severely malnourished when they were found. The parents, David and Louise Turpin, now face up to life in prison if convicted of a combined 78 charges, including torture, false imprisonment, and child endangerment. Now, while all of the 13 children continue their road to recovery, the team at Corona Regional Medical Center also says that some of them are turning to music therapy to heal and learning to play guitar, adding that world-famous cellist Yo-Yo Ma even visited them recently and put on a private performance for them, Leslie.